Welcome to Fearless with Jason Whitlock. I'm Jason Whitlock, your host. Happy Friday. Thank you for joining me. Great show planned for you today. This episode is brought to you by our good friends at Good Ranchers. Use my promo code FEARLESS at goodranchers.com, and with your subscription, you can claim free bacon for life and support veterans this Father's Day. Today's show is going to be tight, but it's going to be powerful. I'm going to unpack something for you guys today that just furthers a talking point that we love to express here on the show. Look, I've always said, what a great coach does, what a great minister does, he finds new ways to expound on the same message. If you're a minister, it's, hey, you need Jesus Christ. I'm going to tell you why you need Jesus Christ, and I'm going to tell you this story that the point is, hey, this is why you need Jesus Christ. Football coach, it's like, hey, we got to win this game. And I'm going to come up with a different speech every day to tell you how we're going to win this game. Me, I'm going to explain to you as best I can how we have this patriarchal, matriarchal war going on. And I'm trying to help you understand the stakes in this war. That, oh God, toxic masculinity, if we were just more feminine, if we just leaned into women, and if women just became the leaders of America, everything would be great and everything would be so much better. It's not true. I'm going to give you another example today to help you understand and to try to equip you with the talking points you need so you can defend the patriarchy, so you can defend male leadership. I'm going to use my favorite topic of the last year, basically, Caitlin Clark, to make this point. The Washington Post just published a story about the impact of Caitlin Clark and what's going on in the WNBA and how much more traction they have and how their TV ratings are skyrocketing and people are just talking about and more interested in the WNBA. But then they included this paragraph, the following paragraph that I want to share with you all about the financial situation going on in the WNBA. Listen to this. The WNBA is having one of the best seasons ever, with viewership at an all-time high and an attendance at a 26-year peak. Compared to last May, merch sales went up 756%, and League Pass subscriptions increased 335%, according to the league. And yet, the WNBA and its 12 teams are expected to lose a total of roughly $50 million this year, according to the Washington Post. The league is booming, but one great season isn't going to fix its balance sheet. The WNBA's revenue hasn't historically covered its losses. Back in 2018, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said the NBA loses an average of more than $10 million a year on the WNBA. And this year and next, the WNBA is digging an extra $25 million size hole to add charter flights, something the players have long said is necessary for both health and safety. Let's let this soak in. They're going to lose $50 million in their best season. And part of the reason they're going to lose $50 million in their best season is because they're paying $25 million in private flights for a group of people that don't need private flights. But they've whined and complained their way into flying private because they don't care. They don't want to earn it. They want to be given it. They don't want to make the sacrifices that men made to build up their sports leagues. They feel like they're owed a debt. They feel entitled. One of the things I've been trying to explain to you all, gratitude. Gratitude is in short supply among feminists, among matriarchs, among people that believe, oh, if we just let women lead, the world will be saved. Women, just in general, I'm not saying all women, they're far less grateful than men. Far less grateful. They're actually ingrateful. Their lack of gratitude is killing the WNBA even in its best year. And so I want to explain to you, walk you through the difference between the mindset of a typical man and the mindset of a typical woman, particularly if she's uncovered by a man through marriage. A man, and we can really see it crystal clear in the sports world, particularly as it relates to football and basketball. Those sports are dominated by black men. And so on draft night of the NBA or the NFL, what's the underlying storyline among the athletes? What gets shown on TV? Oh my God, I can't wait to get my mama a house. Oh, I bought my mama a house. I got my mama a car. My mama's never gonna have to work again. Oh, I'm gonna do all of this for mama. How many athletes have we seen with that mindset on draft day? My mama's never gonna have to work for, again, all that my mama has done for me, and she did X, Y, and Z, and my daddy wasn't around, but I'm gonna take care of mama. That's called gratitude. And men, and in particularly black men, it's hammered into our heads. We owe our mamas a debt, and you damn sure better pay it, or you're not a man. That's the mindset of most athletes, and particularly black athletes, draft night and throughout their careers. They are judged on how they repay their debt to their mama. Gratitude. They're expected to show it. They're expected to support people in their families and make sure aunties are taken care of and just make sure the family's good. That's the expectation, because the family was so good to me. Oh, without my mama, I would have never made it through high school. I wouldn't have made it through college. Oh, my mama was the backbone. She did X, Y, and Z. Let me take care of mama. I'm not mocking that mentality, because I share in that mentality to a point. But if women were in their right minds, if athletes, female athletes, were in their right mind, on draft night, on Olympic night, on any night of the week, a female athlete should be like, oh my God, what these men have done for me. Oh my God, without men, there would never be Title IX. Men sat around and said, you know what? Women don't even really like playing sports. But man, sports are so good to us. They keep us in shape. They teach us leadership skills. They just do X, Y, and Z. And so you know what? We want women to be in shape. We want them to develop leadership skills. We want them to develop confidence. So we're going to create Title IX and just turn over billions of dollars into the development of female athletes. Even though young boys are 10, 15, 20 times more likely to want to participate in organized sports than women. But man, we're going to dump all this money. We're going to give these women this opportunity because we owe them that. And America has done that and has created a group of the best female athletes in the world. In every sport. In soccer, we dominate. In basketball, we dominate. In virtually all these sports, because the American men have put their money where their mouth is, where their heart is. They've invested in these women as athletes. They created Title IX. They sacrificed their own passion for sports, their own investment in sports for the benefit of women. Have you ever heard one woman, one female athlete? Oh, God, I just got to thank these men. What these men have done for me. Lord have mercy. Without these men, and you know what? That's why I'm going to cook this dinner. And that's why I'm going to throw this party. And that's why I'm going to please him and do everything I can to repay the debt that I owe men. That's not their mentality. Let me share with you the latest thing I've added to my workout and weight loss journey, LUMEN. LUMEN is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It's a device that measures your metabolism through your breath. And on the app, it lets you know if you're burning fat or carbs and gives you tailored guidance to improve your nutrition, workout, sleep, and even stress management. All you have to do is breathe into your LUMEN first thing in the morning, and you'll know what's going on with your metabolism, whether you're burning mostly fats or mostly carbs. Then LUMEN gives you a personalized nutrition plan for that day based on your measurements. You can also breathe into it before and after workouts and meals, so you know exactly what's going on in your body in real time. And LUMEN will give you tips to keep you on top of your health game. Because your metabolism is at the center of everything your body does, optimal metabolic health translates to a bunch of benefits, including easier weight management, improved energy levels, better fitness results, better sleep, and more. So if you want to take the next step in improving your health, go to LUMEN, LUMEN.me, and use the promo code FEARLESS to get $100 off your LUMEN. That is LUMEN, LUMEN.me, and use the promo code FEARLESS at checkout for $100 off. Thank you, LUMEN, for sponsoring this episode of Fearless. What they do, and you've heard me earlier this week talk about the WNBA, and you just heard the Washington Post, 26, 27 straight years. The WNBA has lost money, and in the rest of this Washington Post story, they go on to explain how the NBA has been financing the WNBA. Men have been financing the WNBA. What business gets to fail 27 straight years? Show virtually no growth for 27 straight years. Who gets to survive that? But that's men feeling like, hey, we got to take care of these women. That's blah, blah. Do we get the gratitude back? Or do we get ingratitude? Have they created the delusion that all of this is off the backs of these black girl magic queens, these Yas queens? And so anybody that comes into the WNBA, you better show proper respect for these black women who paved the way for you in the WNBA. They've created the delusion that they did this and are going to lose $50 million this year. But they did this. Take no responsibility for that. And we're watching this group of ungrateful, no gratitude having women. They get a gift sent to them called Caitlin Clark. She is sprinkling magic all around the WNBA, making a sport that no one likes likable and watchable. And instead of showing any gratitude towards Caitlin Clark, they have set out to destroy Caitlin Clark. This is what women do. And call me sexist. We're looking at it in real time. You're looking at a big, flaming example of the ingratitude that women have. And I've told you all this before, but it's worth reiterating. Women have created this narrative, and their handlers and the Marxists have created this narrative that, oh my God, if it wasn't for these sexist men, we would have built the first airplane. We would have built the first computer if it wasn't for these sexist men. We would have built the first cars. We would have paved train tracks all across America so that people could travel out west. We would have paved roads so stagecoaches could take roads out west into undiscovered territory. But it was sexism. We wanted to do all of that. We wanted to build skyscrapers. We wanted to be roughnecks and fall to our death while building buildings. We wanted to do that, but these sexist men just wouldn't allow it. And so now, you sexist men that stopped us from inventing flying and airplanes and cars and trains and DoorDash and everything else, y'all owe us a debt. And damn it, if we are participating in a sport that loses money for 27 straight years, damn it, you better fly as commercial. I mean, you better fly as private. And if a gift comes from out of nowhere called Caitlin Clark, but she doesn't fit the demographics that we want to celebrate, she's not black and she's not lesbian, we will destroy her rather than build up this league. There's no gratitude here. And so I want to elaborate on a point I made earlier this week about why the resistance to Caitlin Clark. This is how angry and the lack of gratitude that these women have. The WNBA for 25, 26 years has basically been a traveling lesbian sex cult. You go to any WNBA arena and it looks like some kind of lesbian party. You fly the rainbow over the arena, let everybody know, like, this, it's about to go down up in here in this arena. There's going to be, Brittany Griner's going to be here, Diana Taurasi's going to be here, and this arena is going to be filled with other lesbians. This is our safe space. This is our place to party. This is our pickup lounge. This is our hangout. This is our nightclub. This is our strip club. And so what have they done? Just think this through. What's the argument against Caitlin Clark at this point now? It's her fans. Because Caitlin Clark has given them nothing to complain about. She's played this brilliantly. She has said nothing. She hasn't been aggressive with any of these people. She hasn't done anything. And so they know that. And so what they now complain about is her fans. She's like Tim Tebow. Nothing wrong with Tim Tebow, but it's her fans. We don't like them. They're over the top. They have these expectations and they won't be met, and they'll hate us. What they're really saying is, we don't want heterosexual men and women and their children coming to our sex cult and our nightclub and our strip club. They don't want the demographics inside the arena to change. And so everywhere Caitlin Clark goes, if you watch these games, if you look at her home games, her road games, everywhere she goes, oh, there's dads with their daughters. There's mom and dad with their daughters. There's families showing up because they like Caitlin Clark. And so the demographics inside the arena, the Indiana Fever were averaging, I think, 8,000 people last year. Now they're averaging close to 18,000 people in the arena. And the people showing up in the arena, many of them, a great number of them, to see Caitlin Clark, they're heterosexual. And so the group with no gratitude, these feminists, these lesbians, the LGBTQ crowd, the crowd that has told you toxic masculinity, oh my God, we don't want to be near it, it's dangerous. They're upset that Caitlin Clark is bringing heterosexual people into their arena. It's breaking up their little private club. And so rather than have this league turn a profit and start and begin the process of being to stand on its own 2 feet, the Alphabet Mafia is throwing a riot and a temper tantrum and is being very hostile towards Caitlin Clark because they'd like to break her and ruin her and destroy her so that they can install a lesbian or a black woman, preferably a black lesbian woman, as the face of this league. Because that's important, because in their minds, in their delusional minds, black lesbian women built this. They have so little understanding of who actually built the league that they're playing in, who's carried the weight of the league that they're playing in, who has financed their charity league. They have no gratitude towards those people. And they don't want them around. They would rather live and work in an environment where they're always cash poor and unprofitable and living off the charity of men rather than stand on their own 2 feet, rather than give the men their flowers, their credit for supporting them. Have you ever heard one of them talk about what men have done for them? If you like this show, you're going to love the merchandise we have for the show. Just go to shopblazemedia.com today and you can check out everything from our Fearless Army t-shirts, hats, and dog tags to our God, Country, and Truth Bomb shirts and a whole lot more. And of course, there's all the other Blaze Media merchandise right there at your fingertips. Everything from Blaze Heritage and Blaze Media collections, jackets, t-shirts, hoodies, socks, mugs. There's so much there you're going to love. Go to shopblazemedia.com today. Check out my merchandise as well as everything else available from Blaze Media. And be sure to use my promo code JASON10 to get 10% off your entire order. That's shopblazemedia.com, promo code JASON10 for 10% off today. I figure out new ways to tell you the same thing so that it gets through to you. This lack of gratitude that is destroying our country and has convinced you that women don't owe men anything. That the foolishness of like, there were a group of women that wanted to be the Wright sisters. They wanted to take that risk and develop flying planes. Rather than saying, hey man, look at the Wright brothers. That's awesome what they did. Thank you, Wright brothers. Now I can go travel to see my auntie very easily. Rather than gratitude, it's like, yeah, we would have done that if you guys weren't so sexist. Women owe men a debt, a monumental one. Men, because I hear, well, men owe women. Yes, we do. And we pay that debt. And we celebrate women to our own demise. And as soon as we get some money, as soon as we have any success, where do we start showering that money? Who do we start sharing that success with? Instantly. And we'll feel like we're less of a man if we don't. We do it with women, starting with our mothers. Then it trickles down to our sisters. Then it trickles down to, for some of y'all, your baby mamas or your wife or your daughters. Men don't have a problem paying back our debts. Men don't have a problem showing gratitude towards the people who contributed to their success. Women live in denial of who they owe their debt to. I'm not saying if it don't apply to you, don't be offended. But to many of you, it does apply to. You look at your husbands, you look at your sons, you look at every man on the planet that he owes me something. I was mistreated. Damn it, I wanted to build that skyscraper and fall to my death. Men denied me of that. Oh yeah, I wanted to use dynamite to blow up mountains so we could build tunnels and roadways to travel the country. I wanted to do that. I didn't want men to do that. I wanted to do that. I was denied that. You live in a delusional state. Your factory settings, the one that God put in you, would have you in the right mindset of like, oh boy, thank God, God created men. And thank God, men are not as delusional and as crazy as we are and will actually look out for us, allow us to have lifespans that on average last 7 to 10 years longer than men, and they mostly do it without complaint. Thank God for these men. They invented DoorDash. And now I don't have to cook. I can just get on my laptop or phone and have meals delivered to my door. And the driver will hop in one of these cars that Henry Ford built. And they'll ship the food on trucks that some man built. They'll fly the seafood in from Boston or wherever on some plane that men built. This lack of gratitude, this mentality, it's so far-reaching. Through this WNBA lens, you can see what is tearing down America. A pack of lies and a lack of gratitude and the tolerance of the delusion of women who think we've mistreated them. And I'm not saying O.J. Simpson and some of these other guys didn't mistreat women. But in totality, you can't define us. You can't define what men have done for women. You can't define it by the domestic abusers. Men, in totality, have made unbelievable sacrifices for the benefit of women and children. Women in the last 30, 40 years have moved out of this role of being helpmeets and showing gratitude towards the men who have taken care of them and have moved into this mindset of they're competing with men. And we have allowed this delusional competition to exist to the detriment of our kids and this society. But they cannot compete with us. And if they were in their right mind, they wouldn't want to compete with us. They would want to drop to their knees and say, hey, thank you. Let me thank Jesus for you. And how can I help you as you continue to help me? The entire existence of the WNBA is dependent upon men, has been. And now we just turn it all over to women and men who think like women. I want to play you this clip of Malika Andrews, ESPN broadcaster, asking Adam Silver, one of these feminist male leaders we put in charge, well, how do you balance Caitlin Clark versus the health and growth of the league? How do you balance it? I mean, it's so hard. It's. Don't you remember when Michael Jordan and Larry Bird and all those guys? And Adam, how do you balance it? Play the clip.
The court, the WNBA has had its most watched start to the season ever, and you've held executive positions throughout the duration of LeBron James' career, Michael Jordan as well. How do you balance the power of a singular star versus the health and growth of an entire league as the W is trying to do now? Well,
obviously, talking about Caitlin Clark, I think it's fantastic to see. I even took my daughter to go see her when they played the Liberty in New York, and it was amazing to see the full stadium and the stars courtside. But I think Caitlin knows she's ultimately got to prove it on the floor, and you can't anoint stars in this league. And there's other names that weren't on your list that were going to be the next fill in the blank, and they turned out not to be just because of their performance. And so I believe she's going to deliver. She seems to have the character and the drive and the will and the talent, but let her evolve as a player. I want to take pressure off her, not put more pressure on her.
I want you to juxtapose what Adam Silver just said here. He's no David Stern. And again, I wasn't even the hugest fan of David Stern. But this is just how feminized men have become. And this is, you put women in these positions. She's interviewing the commissioner of the NBA. She's in over her head. She's not qualified for her job. She's been installed by DEI. And so and look, the whole system, the ESPN doesn't want a real question asked. But the proper question would be to Adam Silver is like, hey man, these hating-ass Shaniquas that are trying to destroy Caitlin Clark, how do you get them on board with accepting the gift that Caitlin Clark is for the league? That's the proper, accurate question. It's not, how do you balance the star power with the overall health and growth of the league? Like these are two competing deals. The health and the growth of the league isn't competing with Caitlin Clark's star power. Caitlin Clark's star power is the fuel for the health and growth of the league. But we don't get legitimate questions asked anymore. No one has a pair. Networks don't have a pair. They don't put people with balls in position to ask these questions. And so we end up with stupid questions that go nowhere. And then we got a stupid leader who's been feminized and is afraid to speak any real truth. And so he supplies a dumb answer. Instead of saying, well, it's funny you bring up Michael Jordan, Malika, because when David Stern, my predecessor, was the commissioner of the NBA, man, we recognized the star power and the potential of Michael Jordan. And so we ended up changing all the rules to make it easier for Michael Jordan to be Michael Jordan. Because we wanted to exploit the star power of Michael Jordan. And so we put rules in play. Hey, we don't want him defended the way the Detroit Pistons are defending him. He'll never play a full 15-year career. He'll never be the star that we need him to be if the Detroit Pistons continue to be allowed to beat up Michael Jordan. So we're going to change up some of these rules and make it easier for Michael Jordan to be Michael Jordan. That's what David Stern, my predecessor, did to take the NBA to the next level so that the NBA would be so profitable and powerful that we could finance the WNBA even though it loses $10 million a year. We can do it for 27 straight years. And this year, they're on pace for a record amount of losses. They're on pace for a $50 million loss. We can do that because we exploited the gift of Michael Jordan. We weren't a bunch of hating-ass Shaniquas that tried to destroy Michael Jordan and said, oh my God, Michael Jordan, he's bringing Republicans, or he's bringing families, or he's bringing more fans to the game. How do you balance that with the star power? Great news for you guys that are election watchers and are skeptical about our elections. Blaze Originals and Sarah Gonzalez, they've got an expose, a docuseries on voter fraud exposed, how elections can be stolen. You got to be a Blaze TV subscriber to watch this stuff. It is awesome. It will get you ready to go for this election cycle and election season. Sarah and the Blaze Originals team traveled down to Michigan to get to the bottom of what's going on with our elections. All of your questions will be answered by Sarah and the Blaze Originals team. That's Voter Fraud Exposed, how elections can be stolen. Use the promo code VOTERFRAUD at blazeoriginals.com/Whitlock to get $30 off an annual subscription to Blaze TV. This Voter Fraud Exposed is one of our best docuseries. There's a ton of other docuseries that you'll find fascinating. You need a Blaze TV subscription. Voter Fraud at blazeoriginals.com/Whitlock to get $30 off your annual subscription to Blaze TV. No, that's, again, Adam Silver's in over his head. He's a bad commissioner. Or, I go back to Cat Williams, he's an installed commissioner because they want to feminize everything. So the NBA has been feminized, and the WNBA, they're doing it, trying. Trust me, they want the NBA to continue to go down, the WNBA to go up, but they want it to rise. They're going to try to create some black lesbian superstar and say, yeah, she did this. And so I don't know, Juju Watkins does not seem to be lesbian to me. I don't know, I don't care. But they want some black woman to be Caitlin Clark's rival so they can say that, no, a black woman did this. Sad. And if they were in their right mindset, if they had any gratitude at all, they'd be sitting there praising the men that allow them to exist and happy that this little white girl showed up and is going to allow them to flourish. But because gratitude is no part of their mindset, they're going to destroy Caitlin Clark, and they'd rather be a little niche sport where lesbian women can gather inside these arenas during the summer and pick up each other and DM each other and text each other and exchange phone numbers and talk about how bad Jason Whitlock and evangelical Christians are. They don't want us in their arenas. It's a little sex cult that they got going on, and they don't want us anywhere near it. When Brittany Griner and Diana Taurasi or whoever, you got women on the same team married to each other, certainly sleeping with each other. They don't want us anywhere near that because we might say, hey, man, this is, what are we doing here? This is inappropriate. Trust me, if men were sexually exploiting women the way these women are sexually exploiting each other and beating each other up, it would be a scandal that the media would cover. But since it's a group of lesbians, let's all pretend it doesn't exist. It's not happening. These are the greatest people on the planet. It's you evil evangelical Christians. You're the bad guys. Gratitude. A lack of gratitude is what's destroying the NBA, the WNBA. That's all I wanted to say today. That's it, and that's all. We'll play tomorrow, and we'll see you next week.
Waiting for the countdown, coming off the breakdown, standing in line for freedom. Looking for a breakout, feeling like a standoff, nothing in life like freedom. Came like a fighter, striking like a ladder, making all these moves for freedom. I want freedom. No negotiation, my sister, no relation. We all just wanna have freedom. Sitting on a corner, never been alone. I'm breaking my back for freedom. Blessed, we are living, get back. We are receiving, no deceiving. We all wanna be free. We want freedom. I wanna be.